right. Yeah, man. Ring, ring, ring. We in the back of the class, man. Back of the class podcast where the cool kids talk about cool stuff. We gonna keep it, PG today because it is the ladies episode. We got some ladies in the building. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. This episode has been a couple weeks in the making, but I'm glad that I was able to secure the bag, which being time, with some of the greatest ladies. So I'm gonna introduce some of these lovely ladies. For starters, we have Chelsea Bear Jones. Say hi to the people.
Hey.
Got Lala Zanya,
Hi.
Juana Young.
Okay.
Everything, yeah, everybody, yeah. Look her up, she's beautiful. You know her, love her, find her. We got Bricky B in the building, you know what I'm saying? So let's just, you know what I'm saying? Let's snap for the people, man, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. How you ladies feeling today? It's Labor Day.
Great. Mellow.
Mellow? Feeling good? How you feeling, Chelsea?
I'm good.
Good?
Today was a pretty great day.
Yeah, man, it was beautiful. Lots of clouds.
It was
Pretty
hot.
clouds, though. Super hot.
Very hot.
It was. It's
It's
like...
September, so I haven't been out of the apartment.
You ain't missing nothing. It's ridiculously hot out there.
Yeah, it was.
You ready for the cold weather?
I'm kind
am.
of ready for the fall. I'm not ready for the winter.
Yeah,
Like if we could just skip the winter and just go back to the beginning of summer.
sweatshirt and a boot season.
Absolutely.
Layers.
What?
No, I forgot. My fault.
You forgot?
I was just ready to converse. I forgot we got a thing.
What? We talking about that? Oh, you wanted to just talk about something.
I was talking about fall.
What? What's up with fall?
My birthday is in the fall.
You ain't even doing nothing good, but Mari's birthday is in the fall. He's trying to let us know, y'all. He's not doing nothing for his birthday, though. We were supposed to go to Cali, but he got a promotion. So,
That's
That's
important.
awesome.
he got to
Thank you,
provide for
guys.
his
Thank you.
Congratulations.
family.
Yeah,
I
that's
tell you my
major
real
things
friends
in life.
are. Thank you.
I ain't trying to make none of that, bro. Missed the whole thing. So, I mean, this lady's episode is very important to me, you feel me? Because I think that I'm really happy to see the growing representation of just like women in modern society, you know, and just seeing how everybody is just, I don't know, it's like a lot of different activist movements that are happening right now. There's a lot of different, I don't know, I just think like the rules of society are really being rewritten right now, and I think that it's just beautiful that the female voice is not only like being heard, but you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of things that are happening.
So as we would say, feminist.
Yeah, feminist, but not only feminist, because I feel like feminism, for lack of better words, kind of has like a negative connotation. And I think that like a lot of people, they feel like feminists are more trying to put the rights of women above the rights of men, where I don't think that it's that. I just think that like,
Well, I think it's all regarding equalism as well.
yeah.
And just having the same equality.
Yeah. Well, not okay. Maybe I don't think that feminists are putting their rights above men. I feel like feminists kind of, most of them kind of come at men like they don't like men, and I don't feel like all women.
Very aggressive.
I don't feel like all exactly, and I don't feel like all women who want to be heard are as aggressive. I feel like they're like, hey, we can all coexist.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like there's some of them who are like, nah, F that, you guys are gonna respect us, you're gonna do this, and then there's other ones like, yeah, we kind of want to respect it, but you know what I'm saying? This can be just a kinder way of being said. But I like the fact that not only women, but black women, how you can see like black women are in everything, like the new Starfire is black, you know what I'm saying? They have like women on like all of the sports networks, like a lot of the women are the main commentators, like the men talk, but they're not always like a peer mediator per se. They're more like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of women are being more engaged in different things in different fields you wouldn't normally see them in, and I'm really liking that, and I'm wanting to see like how a lot of my female friends are like seeing that and how they feel like, the future is gonna look up, So Mar, I think your phone locked, bro.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the whole world knows. And that's cool.
I still try to use my thumb. Alright, so I got a couple topics. So Lala, you just had your first little man.
Yeah.
Shout out Lil Kingy. You know, since you just had your first, how old is Lil Kingston?
He's 3 months.
3 months. And then Chelsea, you just had your second little man. This is Marshmallow Jones right here that y'all seeing chugging on this milk chug right here. How old is Marshmallow Jones?
He's a month and a half.
A month and a half. And then Ricky B, how old is your son?
He'll be 7 in October.
7 in October. So we got some different age ranges. So, you know, just motherhood. Like, ladies, talk us through it, man. Tell us about it. What do men need to, what do we not know, man? What do we need to know?
I mean, I feel like it's really like for you to say talk us through it is kind of hard because it's so much like there's so many different ways that you can go about a lot of the same things or a lot of different things. Like there's no book to being a parent. Like you literally have to go with what your child. You're literally focused on your child and you're working with your child's schedule. You're working around your child. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's crazy. I think, like I've been saying, I tell my mom, like, I love being a mom. It's the best thing ever in the world. Like, I'm so happy to give my son everything I didn't have when I was a child. And I just feel like it's very, like, it's a lot of responsibility, but it's very rewarding, literally.
Absolutely.
I think it's amazing. Like, this is your seed. Like, you are, if this fails, if your parenting fails and you mess up your child, it's your fault. Like, literally. No, like, it's raw, but it's true. Like, if your child is messed up in the future because of you, like, how can you even live?
So initially, the childhood is the most important thing.
Yes.
And when raising a kid, like it's different aspects to it, different perspectives, you know. So for someone like myself, I do it more so alone, not really involved with the dad, but my parents are involved. So, you know, I have a great support system. And it's like, it takes a village to raise a kid. Me and my son also grow together because I have my son young. So, you know, it's a thing of a learning game, and you have to be dedicated and let your child motivate you to, you know, want to be successful and want to give them the things that you didn't have.
Recording now. So we're just going to very briefly, and then we're going to get into the topics. We ain't even going to.
Let's see y'all going back.
No more, yes. Hey, so, sorry. Welcome to the Back of the Class podcast where the cool kids talk about the cool stuff. Today, we had technical difficulties, I don't know, so, yeah. But I got some lovely ladies in the building. This is the ladies episode. We got some fruit, we got some chocolate. Our wonderful hostess with the mostest, Mrs. Chelsea Jones, had some pizza for us, so you know what I'm saying. But let me introduce my ladies again. I'm so sorry. Chelsea Bear Jones, say hello.
Hi.
Lala, Zanya,
Hi.
and Ricky B.
Hey.
All right, boom. So y'all missed out on some gems, man, but we gonna, you know what I'm saying, we gonna hopefully, it's still gonna be brilliant. So, long story less long, Ricky B has a beautiful 7-year-old son. Best friend Zanya has a beautiful 3-month-old little chocolate chunk man. And Chelsea Belsey Bones has now just welcomed her second little 1.5-month-old man in here. And we got Mina J in the back or somewhere. So I just had to bring some of my favorite ladies together just so they could give us like an introspective on, you know, women, you know, because everything is always so focused on the male perspective, and I love how we're getting the women perspective now. So we talked a little bit about motherhood, but y'all missed that. But I'm gonna see if I can get them to talk about it again. Tell the people, motherhood. Come on, Lala. I know you got some more. Tell them about how amazing it is to be a mommy.
I really already did, but it's fine. I'll repeat myself. Motherhood is very rewarding. Basically, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. No, but seriously, I really enjoy my son, and I enjoy the fact that he's like a sponge. He soaks everything up, and he has my personality.
Hopefully your motherhood is not full of repeating yourself. You know, hopefully that doesn't have to happen. Because you want to have a kid that listens the first time. I had to make my mom repeat herself a lot.
You hope you have a kid that listens, but you can't.
You
The
can't
thing
force
about
it. The
having
kid's
a
gonna
child
do
is that
their
once they
own
start
thing.
forming their own personality and getting to know who they are, then at that point, that's what really makes you a parent, you know, is guiding them and directing them and not trying to control them, letting them be able to express themselves, but also still, you know, guiding them to the right path and, you know, making standards, morals, you know, boundaries. Don't cross this line, you know. It's okay to express yourself.
This is gonna happen.
Yeah, you know.
You can't do this because.
How do you feel like how do you deal with that when you like when you come to a point to where you like you want to let them express themselves and learn and stuff like that, but you kind of feel like you do know in a sense what's best, but you feel like you think you know what's best.
I feel like a lot of times, like, you know, when it came to my son, I kind of shut down how he felt. Like, for example, he wanted to play baseball instead of running track, and I thought he was really awesome at track, and I'm like, no, you're gonna run track. And my family's like, you never know. Like, just let him play baseball, let him do what he wants. So when he got to baseball, he was actually like the best one on the team. The coach loved him, favored him, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you can't shut down your kids' ideas, and, you know, you just have to be supportive and be willing to back them up on whatever they want to do.
Absolutely. I think that's a very, very good thing. I was listening to the Rap Radar podcast. Will Smith was on there, and he said that his relationship with his daughter is like that's the most he's ever fully loved a woman, and it's basically because of what you're saying. It's more like with love, it always comes with contingencies. Like, if you do this, I'll love you, or if you behave this way, I'll love you. And his daughter is the first person to be like, I'm gonna be me. Yeah. So you gonna have to love me for being me regardless. And he's like, wow, like, okay, I guess I really have to, like, because you know, Willow Smith, she's out there, so you know what I'm saying. And even with Jaden, you know what I'm saying, she really is. She's very, very smart. She's very creative. She's like, her music is like super dope. You know what I'm saying? She's very like it's good to see, like, you know, like you said, as far as like accepting somebody and letting them make their own paths and stuff like that. Because a lot of even some of the stuff we're gonna talk about is just basically based off of like perceptions of how things should be.
Exactly.
So hold on, let me see here. So basically, we like in our 20s, when we still got babies, it's like, well, your children are still babies and things like that. But I think like a lot of people, I don't know if like you really take the time to get to know your parents, like who they were before you actually came into life and stuff like that. But just like how you're saying, like once you have a child, you really have to make a lot of adjustments. So do y'all feel like, you know, you've had to change who you are as a person a lot? And if so, like, do you like the changes? Are there things that you wish you could get back? Are there ways that you consciously try to remain staying you? Or is it more like a...
Well, most definitely, you always have to sacrifice, you know. That's the main important thing in life in general, to succeed. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to cut off your hand and save your arm. So, you know, it's giving up a lot and, you know, missing out on a lot that we might think we're missing out on in the game. Sometimes you got to lose to win. And for me, it's like having my son young, I had to give up a lot. You know, I didn't get to really know myself. I didn't get to really go out and like party, and, you know, I had responsibilities. So it was a time where I did kind of get party heavy or kind of addicted to partying, and I had to put that to the side and remember my main focus, you know, remember what I'm actually out here doing, and that's being a mom first. So
absolutely. How old were you when you had your little man?
I was 16 when I had my son.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's like that is a big. That's I commend you for that. Like, because a lot of people it's difficult to make that adjustment, you know. But you know, like you said, it's about sacrifice. That's what life is about. What about you, Zod? How you feel?
Well, I feel like it's like two different aspects. Like a good mother, she's going to change. Like, it should be natural. Like, it should just, mommy instincts is going to kick in. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, this is my child. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure my child is fed, has shelter, you know, appointments, everything, clothes on your back, like everything. But a mom that isn't a good mother isn't going to think like that. So, of course, she's going to struggle. Like, I don't know. I kind of look at stuff, like I was talking to my mom about it. Like, I really been looking at stuff like, wow, I've been putting myself in other people's shoes. And I understand why people aren't moms. Like, that are our age. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I want to stop you.
You mean moms versus mothers.
I want to stop you on that. Yeah. Because, like you said, there's different perspectives. And there is always to there's no perfect parent. Every parent makes mistakes.
Right.
Now, whether you learn from your mistakes is what make you who you are. So I personally don't. Sometimes I check myself on calling other people good or bad moms because we all learn in a different way. And it takes a little longer for some people. Some people, just like you said, your mother instinct. But just back to what you said earlier, there's no handbook on being a parent either.
I'm speaking on the aspect of people who don't have their kids. That's what I'm saying. You don't have your child like I'm talking about months. You're not a good mother. Period. You know what I'm saying?
But then sometimes that also goes back to
how
you
they were
and I.
raised.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You and I. We have
Yeah.
mothers that show us how to be moms. So when we're
Our compassion.
Exactly. When we're not maybe doing what we should be doing, our parents are going to get us together and correct us and say, hey, no, this is what you're doing wrong.
Most
This is what you
definitely.
should be doing. So that also does come back from just how you're raised, your background, your family. Because, like I said, I have a good support system. If I'm slacking, my family's going to tell me, hey, you're slacking, get it together. Versus someone else who may have never had a mom. So when it comes to them being a parent, they don't really know what it's
They
like.
don't know how to be a parent.
They don't know how to be a parent.
Yeah.
Is that an
That's
excuse?
true.
No, it's not an excuse.
It's true though.
But it does affect people in their parenting with their kids,
Absolutely. It can sometimes be hereditary. It can be something, but that's just for the universe and for God to work with. What about you, Chelsea? How you feel? What do you feel like? Do you feel like, what I'm saying? Was there an adjustment from being Chelsea Jones before having children to now being Chelsea Jones being a parent?
I don't know. I mean, I think other people around me would know more so than I. I mean, I was gonna change anyway. I was only 21 when I had Amila, so I think I was still growing as a person anyway. The direction that I turned, I think, was probably on the same path that I was going. I wasn't crazy into partying or being out doing stuff. I've been with Amari since like middle school, so I don't think anything was gonna drastically change. I think I learned to love people a different way. Like I love my babies more than I did. I didn't think I could love someone like that, but I would sacrifice anything for these people, and it's crazy. Like I know I've grown closer to Amari and my family. I've gotten to know my mom on a different level, like you said. My mom was way different before she had kids, and I've gotten to know her as a person, and that's kind of cool because I always looked at her like, Mom, you're crazy. Like you worry too much. You're like all on my back, but like she's a perfect mom. She's like. She does what she needs to do, and she makes sure we're all okay. And all of us are pretty successful, so I think she's a good mom, an example, on how to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys look at your parents differently now that you're parents?
Definitely.
Definitely.
My stepdad, it took me a long time to really adjust to him and really accepting him into my life. I always held on to the thought of my mom and dad being together. But when I had my son, he was not only a dad to me, but he was a dad to my son. So it made me understand both of them more on the aspect of who they are in my life and their purpose of being there at that point. So
Absolutely. I was speaking to this girl the other day, and she was like, I don't know, I think she's probably like mine, probably like 25, 26, and she was talking about wanting to have kids, and then this other girl stopped me like, you got any kids? I'm like, nah, I got no kids. She was like, tell this girl about. So I guess I don't really know how I'm trying to position my question. Like the age that we have, like y'all have, like, would you tell people, like, what I'm saying? Like, did y'all feel like y'all were ready? Would you tell people to, like, what would you give advice to people who don't have kids but are eager as hell to have kids?
For myself, it's so crazy because, like we said so many times in this, podcast, it's so many different perspectives, From my perspective, I had my son young when I wasn't really prepared. For a lot of people, they say there's really no way to be prepared, whether you're young or whether you're old. But for me, I would have waited. I would have waited on a ring commitment to know that someone is in it with me and not just me in it with myself. And, just doing everything different. I definitely would have waited till I'm more, just settled in life and just was able to accomplish everything I wanted to do, travel, get school done, because now it's not only me focusing on myself, but it's me focusing on my child and myself,
How about you, Zion?
I agree.
You agree?
I definitely agree.
What about you, Chelsea? What would you tell the person who's eager to have children who doesn't have any kids?
I don't think there's an age. I think it's more so like how you're feeling in life. Because, I mean, I was 21 when I had Mila, and I don't think that's, like, super, super young. But I
It's
don't
not.
think it was, like, the right age for me. Like, mentally, I don't think I was mentally prepared to have a daughter. But it also made me a better person. So it's, like, I don't see any cons there.
Yeah, it helps you grow up
Like,
with.
It was a struggle, but... if you
Best
make
thing
it
about
through, like,
kids are that they're blessings, but they're also natural. You know, God puts your child in your life at that time for a reason. And it may be something that you're going through that we
There's
don't.
strawberries too, you ladies. If y'all wanna mention
There may be
strawberries.
something that you're going through that you don't really realize that you're going through. You know what I mean? But I feel like the people that try to force it is when it's like a bad situation. You know, it's a hard time to be a parent. You know, so
Yeah.
I just think it's something that just happens, just natural. It was your time. It was meant for you. Then that's exactly what it was.
Absolutely.
Right.
I fully believe that. After having two, I always say, I lost my aunt, Michelle, before we had Mila, like right before, a couple months before I got pregnant.
Okay.
And then Amari just lost his granddad before we had this one.
Wow.
And I'm like, that can't be a coincidence. You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's
Well, that's
what my,
so-
yeah, that's
oh
what
my
my mom told J Mom before Jasmine came. Because Jasmine, Deja's mother passed away. And right when Deja's mom passed away, my mom said, don't let death bring life.
I was gonna say it's the cycle of life. You know, one goes, another comes.
They always
You know.
say that.
And that's just how it works. That's
Well,
what makes
people
it the beautiful thing, you know, because I really believe in like reincarnation. So I feel like it's like bringing that soul back in, you know, like you said, his grandfather passed, and then you guys have a baby boy. Like,
And also
it's
sometimes
like that.
mourning, like when you're mourning some stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, our bodies, like the hormones and stuff, both on the male side and the female side, like once you really feel, once something like that happens and you're really emotionally open and both parties are vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, it definitely could be. Cause I've heard people say that too, like when you try, like if you try to get somebody pregnant, like, nah, you really gotta make love for real, like really, you know what I'm saying? So maybe if you are in a mourning stage, something like that, something's really going on, and y'all, you know, maybe that's what causes it. Who knows? But I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Let's see here. What else we got here with these? So you did. Actually, I wanted to show y'all a trailer to a video if possible. Can you get there? Where the PlayStation at? Let's show y'all this little trailer real quick.
Let me do it, G. I ain't got my hands somewhere.
Yeah, go to skate kitchen.
Scapegoat, right?
Skate kitchen, like skateboarding.
Oh,
Just put it right there.
Skate Kitchen.
Here. I'm gonna grab some of this fruit. Sign where your fork go?
Oh, which one we got? Jaden Smith?
Nah, skate kitchen. Like, yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, he in it right there. To the left.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. I don't know which one it is. Where the volume at?
Right there.
Right
beside
there.
you.
For a while, I was feeling really lonely. That loneliness you have, even in a crowded room. But I don't feel it anymore. Do you like dick or pussy? I like boys. No, boys are just uneducated.
Hey, can you do an album?
No, bro, I'm a poser. You use tampons? You don't. Can't they kill you? No. Hey, Mom. Yeah, I'm at the library. You got a high style. No more skating, promise me.
you know, you can stay at my house if you need.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was seeing you at the park the other day. You were killing it. Skate or die, bitch.
No, I don't.
What's wrong with the kitty pool?
Why are you skating with them? Get the fuck out!
Poetry snaps.
I don't really see a lot of people skating anymore.
But like you said, what are your initial thoughts just from seeing it? Like you said, movie about girls skateboarding.
I probably wouldn't watch it.
Alright. What about you, Chelsea?
I
Doesn't
probably
look super.
wouldn't watch
Well, yeah, okay. So I mean, it was just like I wasn't really. I wouldn't probably watch it either. But I was just thinking more like just the.
Probably watch it.
No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't probably. I was more looking at it more the fact of the imagery. Like you said, you don't really see too many people skateboarding, let alone the fact it's a whole group of girl skateboarders.
Right.
And then the part that stood out the most to me was the little girl who saw the other girl skateboarding.
Yeah,
You
she was
feel me?
watching skateboard. She's
Yeah.
so fascinated.
Yeah, you know, I just think that right now imagery is very, very important. Like there's a lot of different things. Like we don't really see, like when LeBron get into school, or like I think that when you see people do things, you don't really feel like they're achievable sometimes until you see people do them, or you don't even really think like, I wasn't even thinking that we could do that, but we can do that. So it's just like, I like that preview just because of just different things of what they're saying, like just certain things you think are for boys. I like how they have like the things that girls are doing. I guess I wanted to more like, it kind of more tied into this excerpt that I read. It was basically like, in this Girls Make Games thing, it was this little magazine, I read it in Game Informer. So I'll read a little piece of it to y'all and see how y'all feel about that. Good, why are you straight? I'm sorry. So basically it was just saying like electronics are for boys and not for girls. So like in a recent study with Microsoft in association with KRC, it yielded that like only 27% of women feel confident in coding professions, while 52% of women feel strong in STEM studies, so science, technology, engineering, and math. Between now and 2030, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics predicts the technology industry will be the fastest growing field in the world, but women in the industry will not match the growth. So basically it's like, they're basically saying that women, these girls, I guess they have this thing called Girls Make Games, where they're pretty much just trying to see if different girls like different things as far as like making video games and stuff. It's not always, because they don't want girls to feel like electronics are for boys, dolls are for girls. You feel me? They feel like if that's pushed on girls at a very young age, they'll be pushed away from different careers that like, just like even in the video game industry, because that's where this mainly was focused. When you hear designing video games, most girls are turned off to it because they may not per se even like video games, or they don't want to do computer stuff. But what they don't realize is that there's music that goes into video games. There's art, there's storytelling, there's character development, there's all sort of different things that tie into these things. So I guess it was basically like, do y'all feel like electronics are for boys, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, have y'all felt like that growing up? I think me and Lala, we talked about this a little bit.
Well, I read a book, and this might be a little off topic, but it's like how to be a successful businesswoman. And in the book, it talked about how, you know, in the entrepreneur world, a lot of men are more successful than women. I think about the ratio is like 10% of women actually succeed and keep their business afloat. And the number one reason why is because, you know, we already come into this world with a statistic on us, or with men are stronger than women, or men are more capable than women. You know what I'm saying? So initially, like, women let that hold them down. So when it comes to the video game world, most men are going to succeed more because, you know, they do put that thought of, what girl do you really know that sits around and play the game, or, you know, really sit around and video game like that.
Yeah.
If we can go like, instead of like just using video games as like one thing, like maybe something that guys are like supposed to be really good at, jumping
Yeah.
girls.
Managing businesses, investing. There's not a lot of women investors. There's not a lot of women that will go to an investor and really network and say, hey, I need you to lend me this money. Initially, we go into it with, they're going to think a man is stronger, can do the job more than I can.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the reason why, like, it's a part of the reason why a lot of men actually make more than they were saying. They were saying a part of it, not all of it. They were saying a part of one of the reasons why they say in the corporate world a lot of more men have the higher raises simply because they ask for it, and where women, where they'll come and request a raise, and then if the supervisor says no, then the woman will just accept that no and just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Whereas a man will be like, all right, well, what I gotta do to get this raise?
Yeah.
Or does this, or this is happening, and where men will be more pushy to get the raise, they say that women just kind of fall back. So it's, I guess, the reason why I'm bringing up like just the symbolism and the different women and the different things and stuff like that, I guess where it's just like, how do y'all feel like as women going into a newer generation, like what do you feel is like do you feel like the shift is being more positive in like the light of like the strength of what women can do and the different things that are being offered?
I do. If you think about it, most likely, like now in a lot of homes, women are more of the breadwinners. Like women are kind of bringing home more than a man. If you notice that, and that's more so to my people or the black community. I feel like I've noticed. You know, men, they let that kind of hurt their pride, or you know, so I feel like it breaks up a lot of homes to me, and the women are left single because the man can't handle the fact that his woman is making more money than him. You know, it makes a man feel like he doesn't have the pants on.
Like he can't provide.
Like he can't provide.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I could see that. I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I guess it should just still be a teamwork type thing. But I mean, I guess like
It is.
yeah, but I mean, I guess men always wanted women to be stronger. Women always wanted to get stronger. So I mean, I guess like I don't really see the issue with
I mean, there's like, it could be like guys could be toxic when it comes to like, if your girl, Chelsea makes more than me, and if she like, you know what I'm saying, want to take care of me, I personally wouldn't be like,
you said
you know,
she want to take care
I
of
wouldn't be her, but I do know guys would be like, I just need, because
Yeah.
we have that drive that we need to take care of our family. Every day I'm like, man, how can I get rich? Because we
Yeah.
we need to be doing more than this. So, but I don't like. I see what you're saying with the toxic. I think it's just like if they had that toxic trait.
Yeah. It depends. And once again, it goes back to how they were raised. You know, if they were raised to be insecure men, then it's gonna let them be insecure and try to break the woman down and, you know, make
It
her
also comes
feel.
from personal. Like if
Yeah.
you like if you a dude and you coming in and then the girl already like if she already been on her stuff and you not really on your stuff, like I mean you can't
True.
really, you know what I'm saying, be too mad at her. But also that also comes from, you know what I'm saying, it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
So you feel me, like but it really just depends on that scenario. Like if the guy came in and the girl,
Yeah.
if the girl don't got an issue with it and the dude is just feeling some type of way, that's one thing. But if the girl's messing with the dude, but then she's belittling him the whole time, like why are you dealing with him only to belittle him? You know what I'm saying? And then of course, you know what I'm saying, but it also shouldn't be 100%. It shouldn't be 100% about material things, but also it should be. It's a companionship. It's a teamwork. Like it should be some sort of, you know, help. I actually
If a guy like, let's say in that situation when girls make more money and the guy is just like sick about it, like I don't even know what I'm doing with that. Never mind. I mean, like if the guy is sick about it, the girl making more money, like where does that stem from? Like that's just like
insecurity.
Insecurity. Insecurity of the masculine part of a man takes care of the home. You know what I mean? A man pays all the bills, the woman is taking care of the home and the children.
It don't even be that.
So-
It be when the girl got a car and the dude gotta get picked up by the girl, or y'all go out to eat and
It
you ain't got
depends.
money to buy the food.
If you guys
go out to
came
eat.
together and you guys leveled up together and y'all came to a mutual agreement of we're growing together, we're trying to build together, then that should never be a problem. It should always be 50-50. If I have the car, you have the gas money.
Mhm.
If we're going out to eat, pay the tab. You know what I mean? Meet me halfway. You feel me? But
you
like,
gotta meet
And then they be dudes that don't be willing to do
Some-
none of that. But then
Like, you know, sometimes you're gonna pick up more than sometimes.
Yeah.
That's part of the relationship thing.
Yeah,
sometimes
true.
you're gonna pick up more. Maybe you give 70%, right now you're gonna get 30%.
yeah,
But as long as I know that you're doing everything
You're
you
trying,
can, you're
yeah.
trying. And that's what when it gets to the point where somebody's giving 70-30, they just automatically like, well, this person didn't give as much as me, I'm about to give up.
yeah.
You can't look at it like that, because when you look,
I think that boils back down to our generation and the day and age that we're in nowadays. Like, you know, back in the day, it was about the home. It was about the family. It was
Right.
about whatever we had to do to make sure my family eat. Now it's like keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, I see this person doing this on Instagram.
People are
Now I'm trying to
ashamed
keep
anymore.
up with them. Or, you know, I'm not I'm not comfortable with living in with my means because I feel in competition with the next person who's making their family look good because they're all on the internet with
Social
Gucci.
media.
You know, so social media is the devil. And I think money's the root of all evil. It breaks up a lot of homes. It goes back to child support and the women putting the men on child support. That's breaking up homes right there. You know what I mean? Because now the man's in debt. He can't have driver's license. Can't get a job because he got warrants out for child support.
Yeah.
You know, so it really just
Child support does all that.
yeah,
You can
that's
if you don't pay it.
You don't pay, yeah.
Yeah.
When they pay it, you hemmed up.
Yeah. And I
But
mean,
that's a whole different. That's a whole different thing.
you know, it's a whole different conversation, but it all ties in together of, you know, like I said, our generation. I think that we really have a generation of everybody's beneficial. Everybody's like, how can I benefit off of this person? You know what I mean? Like, instead of meeting them halfway and saying, let's build together,
Right.
or, you know, let's be a team to get on top. Because like I said earlier, it takes a village.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a teamwork type thing, and I feel like I don't know, man. It's just these. I don't know.
And that ties back into parenting.
Yeah.
It's teamwork on, you know, if we can even co-parent, even if we don't get along, let's understand that we have this child who's dependent on not only me, but they need you, and it doesn't even have to do with money. It has to do with having a father, having that father role, or having that mom to give them that gentle love, you know. But all that, you know, ties in and plays a huge part in life when raising kids.
Yeah, I mean, so what advice would y'all give to just like if there was one thing that you could get guys to understand about women, like what would y'all just a little tidbit that y'all would just strap on us?
I mean, I think my biggest advice to guys about women is like, just stop trying to figure us out. Like, seriously, because half of the time we can't even figure us out. Like, we're ladies. Like, it's so funny when guys are like, oh, I love her because she nagged too much, or she did this, she did that. But all women are the same. Like, we may not do the exact same thing, but we do similar things. Like, and you're leaving me to go to the next one when she gonna act just like me. So it's just like,
Women do that with men too.
We were just talking about the same thing.
seriously, me and Johnny was too. Like,
I think it really is like the grass isn't always greener on the other
oh, the
side.
grass is always
Love
not
yours,
green.
you know what I mean? If you have someone that's there and that's, you know, a responsible, focused, loyal woman, you know what I mean, that's trusting and really wants to be there for you, love her. Embrace it. You know what I mean? Because not everything that glitters is gold. You know, everybody see these big booty chicks that might look good, but she don't have nothing going on in her life. You know what I mean? Kids are missing out at home. She's barely spending time with them. You know what I mean? You barely even knew she had a kid because she's always on Instagram or in the club or, you know. So love yours.
Yeah. What about you, Chelsea? What would you tell us guys out here, man?
I don't know. I don't think that all girls are the same. I think that all humans need like certain things. So like, if you want to feel loved, you want to be like appreciated. I think a lot of girls feel that more so than men, but men also need that. So it's like on a human level. I don't know. I don't have it figured out. I only dated one person in my life, so I don't know. I would like him to be more considerate sometimes. You know, like, oh, but if you were me, what would you be thinking right now? That type of thing. Because sometimes, you know, you don't put yourself in the other person's shoes. And you're like, well, this is how I feel about it, but you're not thinking about how I feel. You know.
Right.
But that's, you know, that's everybody. I think.
Yeah, everybody. I think it's best to. It's always best to just try and put yourself in the other person's shoes and, like you said, perspective. Just trying to understand each other better and communicate more. I think that's the most important thing. Like,
Prayer is the most important thing.
yeah, prayer.
You pray on it, it'll work it out in the end.
Make sure this.
All
right. Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah, man.
Well, I did want to touch upon the like with the all women are the same thing. I don't want to like it's not all women are the same, but it's like when you in a relationship with somebody, like you've been there for like a year or two, and when you at the beginning stages, everything, no matter who you with, is gonna be smooth. It's gonna be like, okay, all right. So I give me a new girl. I deal with the good stuff. But then when you in a year, 2 years, 5 years plus with somebody, they gonna nag, and you know y'all it
They care
ain't
about
it ain't
you,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, they want you to do better and they want you to be a better person. They're gonna check you when you do being wrong.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, me and Chelsea would be like this, and I'd be like,
It's like that.
dang girl, you
But
like
it's
that. You know.
And that's
You guys
what
heard
it
that.
is, love.
One time she probably been right.
One
She been
time
one
you gonna take
time
it
right,
back
one
now?
time ever in her life. But you know, so it'd be like, dang, she nagging me to death. But you know,
It's for good intentions. It's with
exactly.
her love and care, and I want to see you in the best position that you'll ever be, and I want to be in that position with you. You know, only a person that don't care about you is gonna let you slack off
Or stay in the same position for years.
stay in the stagnant.
You haven't learned anything. Like,
Maury said that women just want to make you responsible. He said they just want to give you responsibilities. Like if they
That was a
see,
me and you
that's
conversation.
what you said,
That was
bro.
a me and you
He
conversation.
said your mom come in the room, she see you playing the game, that's why you got chores.
You know what I'm saying? You're not about to just have fun all day.
That's true.
That was
You're
exactly
not about
what
to
it
just
was.
you're not about to just have fun all day. You about to do something constructive.
I was talking about that earlier, how black moms, like, when they walk in the house and you be like, hi, how was your day? They be like, don't even ask me how my day was. Well, why didn't you vacuum? And you did not get the clothes out the lot.
Yeah,
I
'cause
told
they
you to
was-
clean
they-
the
'cause
downstairs
they
bathroom.
They knew that you weren't going to do it before they got home. So they was waiting to get home to verify. I know when I walk in this house. I know when I walk in this house, these dishes are not done. No. Do you walk in the dishes? Do you walk in the house and the dishes not done? Confirmation is a woman's best friend.
Yeah.
Confirmation is a woman's best friend because they love to think some stuff, and then when they think it, and then they was right. Ooh,
Women let it be right.
ooh,
That's why when you argue with a
ooh.
woman.
Women let it be right even when they wrong.
No, seriously. That's why when you're arguing with a woman and you say, okay, you're right, I'm sorry. Swear she'll shut up.
I told
I'm
Javon,
like,
I told Javon, I was like,
Okay.
I told him the other day, like, bro, like, there is like, just saying sorry to a woman won't move mountains sometimes. Like, I was like,
no,
bro,
not sometimes. Mm-mm.
not sometimes, all the
And
time.
sorry to me is just a word.
No, I mean like a genuine, like, well, I mean,
You gotta show
I
me.
guess like basically when you're bumping heads with somebody about something and y'all keep arguing about the same thing and then that same argument keeps like going into other stuff because y'all still mad about the root thing. I was like, bro, go to the root thing and apologize about the root thing, bro. Sometimes it's like, you feel me, like just all they want to do is hear you apologize about it.
Yeah.
It don't matter that you know what I'm saying, they know that you never do it again or you done changed or you done made up for it, but if you ain't never really apologize, like addressed what it was you did and then apologize for it specifically, it still might not help, but at least it's gonna be like, well, at least he addressed that and apologized for that. Because that's what dudes be wanting, like, bro, why is she still mad? I'm like, bro, the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's she's acting like it's different stuff, but it's that first thing, bro. So,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I guess I'm almost done. I only had I don't really have just how much I have to say about this, but there's this girl. She's got like a video game studio. This was a lot of stuff. She's in there, like entrepreneur or something like that. She's like a billionaire, and she founded the production in 2011. She produced movies like Zero Dark 30. That her movie where the dude was talking to he fell in love with the Siri voice. She produced that, and she produced The Master, something else like that. So she basically just like goes and finds like storytellers who like they write their own books and stuff like that, and then basically she just funds it and produces their movies. So she transitioned from doing that with movies to like video games. So she done made like these super sweet ones. Like it's like this. It's just one game. Her story, What Remains of Edith Finch. You'll probably never put, but What Remains of Edith Finch, I like that. I watched it. It's like there are these new type of games. They're not new type of games, but it's more games where like you see Mario playing a game and us, you know what I'm saying, swords and all this extra stuff. The games that they make are really, really story driven. Like What Remains of Edith Finch, it's like you really could just watch somebody else play it. It's really like a movie, but it's a game. But it's basically like all of her ancestors, they all die for some reason. They never really know why. And they never really get to like an older age. And it's some sort of something in their head where like they end up like killing themselves or some sort of something. I don't know. But everyone always has these like journal entries. Am I boring you, Luana?
No.
Oh my gosh, she literally had her eyes closed. Like, but no, it's like just everybody's like they have like these little journal entries they write. It's pretty cool that they be dying and it'd be crazy. And then she wrote this. She had another game. It was called Florence. I thought I didn't play that one, But it was just really, really creative. It was basically about this girl and she dated this guy or whatever. And it's like, you just play through different little interactive stuff, like their conversations, them kicking it and stuff like that.
Like real
But,
life.
yeah, but what was so crazy about it, what kind of got me is like, they had a routine. They first met, they dated, they slept together, they woke up, brushed their teeth. And then it was parts where like after they broke up, like she had to brush her teeth by herself and she was going, so it's like stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's so sad. But it's like, they're games, but they're movies and shit. You know what I'm saying? And they're really, really highly focused on storytelling. So I just wanted to share that just because she's a woman, you know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to tell more about like how people are finding ways that get into mediums that people didn't normally see that women would be a part of, that women would have any interest in. But there are things in that, and I just think like, you know, just wanted to share that with y'all and see how y'all kind of felt about, you know, woman games.
What's her name?
Her name, Megan Ellison.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like a billionaire producer. She started with movies and then she went to games. They said they went to her studio and like, the studio's called Annapurna, but they just had like, it's literally just a bookshelf like high as hell. And it's just all books, but they're like, you know how people have pictures, like what is it called, a collage, where it's like a whole bunch of pictures, but if you look from far, like they had that, but it's like the symbol of an A, but it's just all books. So their thing is really, really, really highly based off of like just storytelling, literature and stuff like that. But they like, you know, make interactive games and stuff like that.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah, it's just cool to see a girl out there, you know, a woman out there getting that check and doing different stuff. So I don't know, that was pretty cool. But I thank you ladies so much for your time, being so open. Any final words for the people? No?
You do you. Cause we gonna do us.
We gonna do us.
Women
You
run
do
the
you.
world.
Women do run the world. They taking over soon.
It's simple.
They already
Where would men be
outnumber us.
without women? Men, they can produce, but can they really produce? For real?
If it wasn't no women,
Like, they cannot push the kid in the world. I had this conversation with my son. You know, men have it way easier than women.
we wouldn't even do nothing if it wasn't for y'all, for real.
Yeah, we bleed 7 days out the month.
That's right there.
We actually go through the labor and push the kids out. You know, we do the nesting, the nurturing. So we do a lot of dirty work.
If I put a quarter in a vending machine, are the chips mine or the vending machines?
A quarter?
It's the vending
The chip's
machine.
only a quarter? That's crazy.
$1.
Okay.
Okay, well it's the vending machines. Cause you don't get it back.
But I got it out. It's my $1.
Wait, what?
You said a quarter.
You said if you put the quarter in the vending
If
machine.
I put the $1 in the vending machine and I
And you
get
press the
chips.
button. and
Okay,
it
y'all
falls
winning.
down.
Y'all pull. Y'all called it. It's the vending machines chips.
Okay, yeah.
I thought they were my chips. It was supposed to be a horrible metaphor about childbirth, but
I'm weak.
Oh.
yeah,
You put the semen inside a woman.
man. If I put the $1 in the vending machine, are the chips mine or the vending machines?
I don't like that at all.
It's
Because of
not.
course
Me
it's
neither.
the man's
That's
child. This is different, grandma.
Nah, y'all definitely know. Y'all, hats off to y'all. Y'all
Mama's
do all the
baby,
work.
daddy's maybe.
Y'all do all the work. If it wasn't for women, we wouldn't be motivated to do nothing. It would just be a bunch of dudes sitting around playing video games all day.
Facts.
Like we wouldn't go get jobs.
facts,
We
big
wouldn't try to
facts.
get cars. You know, we work hard to try and
Impress women.
find a beautiful woman because women
Yeah.
don't. But y'all, you know,
Y'all-
And when you do, then you do what the
Some
lovely
guys
Chelsea
don't.
is doing, and you settle down and you have a family.
Some guys
Marshmallow.
do,
Look
they
at this
just-
man, comfortable man.
Super cool. He's really hot.
Yeah, he knocked out.
Nah.
He's slumped. What were you saying?
I was just saying, like, some guys, though, they just require the most. Like, they really have 12 hours, like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, a lot of dudes these days have insecurity issues. I'll say myself included. You feel me? We definitely use women
Well, that's
as
big of you.
yeah. We use women as a very
As the
strong.
security or confirmation. I asked my brother because he said, "Yeah, I haven't went out in a while, and I got this girl's number, knowing that I wasn't gonna call her because he has a whole family at home. Not trying to put him out there. I got a few brothers, but anyways, we know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
I know what you're
It's
talking about.
safe for me, cuz.
Moral of the story, I asked him, I said, well, even though you know you're not gonna call the girl and you still have a family to go home to, what made you like get her number? And he's like, it's like reassurance, like knowing I still got the juice, I still got it. And I'm like,
I was listening to a podcast and this dude basically like he really was just talking about a lot of things come back, a lot of his issues that he realized they had to come back to self love, like because he was like he had this super good girl and he cheated on her and he was like trying to figure out what was really going on with him, and he basically realized like it was like a combination of things. It was like basically his mom was a single mom. So when his mom wasn't really there, he kind of internalized that as like he just didn't get the affection that he needed from his mom, when really it's just your mom is busy. So if you don't get the affection from, you know what I'm saying, from your mom, you know what I'm saying, as you get older, you start to latch on to women with that. That's why a lot of times I feel like men be really needy to women, because, you know what I'm saying, like,
and vice versa.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, everybody wants to think that women are the ones who have all the emotions and men have no emotions. But like Chelsea said, it's a human thing. Like everybody has emotions. It's just men have to act like they don't. Yeah. So when you get around a woman and you don't have to act, that's when you get to be all emotional and be a baby and shit like that. You feel me? And that's why men, in some instances, like to have different women, because you know what I'm saying. They feel like they're lacking with that emotional stability sometimes, you feel me? So, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of niggas, they be trying to make up. Like, you know, like you never know how long a person might have been deprived from something and how much they really might feel like they might have time to be making up for that. Maybe they're trying to, you know, overcompensate for it. And it's also something that until you really even, because if you're not even conscious of it and you're not working towards it, like I said, it comes from self-love and having to get to a point to where you realize like I like with my mom, it was the same way with my mom. I used to always give it, you know what I'm saying, always think that my mom like loved my little brother more because, you know what I'm saying, he was the second, he was the baby, he was light skinned, you feel me? She really wanted to be back with my dad, but didn't really want to try and get back with his dad, but didn't really want to be with like my dad and stuff. So like, I don't know, like, but I think men just have to, once they grow up and really look at themselves and see what's going on with themselves and stop blaming the women that they're dealing with. You know, but that's where that comes from a lot of times. Where the dudes feel like they got messed with a lot of girls. It's not because they want to be players or nothing like that. It's just, it sometimes comes from that insecurity. Well, I think we,
No, I got something to say.
Go ahead.
What I got on this?
Weird gang.
Nah, I got nothing to say, Rick. I just wanted to get to I wanted your attention.
You got my attention. Yeah, man. Well, man, this was a great episode. I'm glad I got my ladies together, man. This is the Back of the Class podcast where the cool kids talk about the cool stuff, man. We love y'all. Self-love. Stay blessed, man. We're going to holler at y'all. Woo. Pausing. Double pausing.